Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am back with another set, and this time we're actually doing a full set of stiletto nails with flame designs. So I've already prepped the nail and I forgot to press record. So as you can see, I'm applying her nail tips now, and remember, when you're applying the nail tips, you want to make sure that they are the correct size, because if not, they will crack or lift. So the smallest number on the tips is the biggest tip, and then the biggest number is the smallest tip. So like the pinky would usually be like a number 9 or 8, and then the ring finger, the middle finger, and the index is usually like a number 7, 6, or 5, and then a thumb is usually a 1 or a 2, or sometimes even a 0. So also you want to make sure that if one tip is too small and the other one's too big, you always want to go with the bigger one and just file the sides down and just make it fit perfectly. And the glue, I'm using my KDS glue. I apply it to the tip of the nail. I apply the tip onto the nail and just hold it down until the glue dries. And usually the glue dries like under 10 seconds, so it doesn't take long at all. Also, you want to make sure that you hold your finger really straight. As you can see, I make sure that I hold the finger and place the tip, hold it down until the glue dries. After all the tips are on, we're going to go in with a tip cutter and we're just going to cut them down to the desired length. So for her nails, we're only cutting down like the number on the tip. So usually the tips have the number on the very tip of the nail, so we're just cutting that off. And after this, we're going to cut down the sides using a regular toenail clipper with a flat top, and I'm just cutting the sides of it off. That way, whenever we start filing, it's going to save us a lot of time. Alrighty, so now we're going in with a 100 nail file to shape her nails. As you can see, I go from side to side. You want to make sure you alternate to make sure that your nail is not crooked. I hold my brush starting at their nail group, which is the side of their nail, and I angle it towards the tip of the nail, and then we just, like I said, alternate from side to side, and then after that we blend the tip right in the middle. So once again, you want to make sure that you alternate from side to side, because if you file too much on one side, your nail is going to start being crooked. So make sure you kind of do like even amount, like the same amount of files on each side. So after we finish reshaping the nails or shaping the nails, we're going to go in with a primer. So for my primer, I'm using my OPI Bondex, and I'm just applying that to the natural nail. Be careful not to get it on the skin, because if they have any little cuts, it will burn them really bad. After this, we're going to go in and apply our acrylic. So as you can see, I started with a bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meets. I brush it down towards the tip, and if you do get acrylic on the cuticle area, be sure to wipe it off really fast, because it will dry quickly and it will be really hard to get it off the skin afterwards, which will cause lifting. After that, we place another bead closer to the tip, and then my next bead will be on the tip. So kind of just watch what you're doing and just look at your nail from different angles, and you'll be able to see where you need to add more acrylic. So you don't have to stick to a certain method. Just watch what you're doing and just add wherever it's needed. Don't just get acrylic happy and get to applying a whole bunch of product just everywhere, because you will have a lot of filing to do. So once again, just look at your nail from different angles. You want to make sure that you have a nice stress area, and your stress area is right in the middle of the nail, like basically like the middle between where the nail tip starts and then the cuticle area. You want that to be kind of thick. That way, if one of your nails is about to break, that's basically where the nail gets its strength from. That's where your apex is. So once again, we are using my Mia Secret acrylic system. I'm using my alpha brush in a number 9, and I do have a promo code for alpha brush, which is Natalie in capital letters, Natalie 10. Once again, that's Natalie, Natalie 10, and the website is alphabrush.com. And for my acrylic, I get it on eBay, so I'll leave that link in a description. Alrighty, so once again, we apply that first bead right in the middle where the natural nail and the tip meet. We brush it down towards the tip. You want to be careful not to brush too hard. You kind of just want to feather it down to make sure that most of that acrylic is not going all the way to the tip, because you don't want to have a really like flat nail. After that, we are going to apply a second bead closer to the cuticle area, and we are brushing down towards the tip again. Remember, always be careful and clean around the cuticle area really good, because if not, if the acrylic is on the skin, it will cause lifting. And remember to look at your nail from different angles. You want to have a nice apex, which is what your nail gets its strength from. So look at it from different angles. If you need to add more acrylic, then that's fine, but don't get too acrylic happy, because you will have a big thick nail and you will have a lot of work to do at the end. So be careful and be sure to work smarter and not harder. So once we've applied the acrylic on all the nails, we're going to go back with our 100 nail file, and we are going to just reshape the nails. A lot of the time the acrylic kind of takes away from the nail shape, so that's why we go back and just gently reshape it a little bit. We don't have to do a lot, just kind of make sure that you file the same amount of times on each side to make sure that your nail is not crooked. And after this, we're going to go in with our e-file to file the rest of the nails. Alrighty, so now we're going in with our e-file, and I'm using a fine drill bit, and we're going to focus around that cuticle area. Here is a close-up look. As you can see, I start from one side of the cuticle area to the other, and I just keep doing that until I'm able to see where the cuticle is, where the natural nail is, and where the acrylic is. That way I know that the acrylic is not on the skin and I won't have any lifting. You also want to be careful not to cut them. It does take a little bit of practice to be able to do this nice. If not, they do have the safety drill bits, which basically help you not cut somebody. And remember, just look at your nail from different angles. Make sure that you file away any little bumps or lumps. If you are a beginner, you will have a little bit more filing to do because it is a little bit harder to lay your acrylic down really evenly when you're starting off. So for me, I just focus on that cuticle area, make sure that I seal it really good. And one thing is, if you're still having lifting and you're doing everything correctly, if you're using primer, if you're prepping the nail right, but if you're not doing this part correctly, you will have lifting. And if you have lifting and you just feel like you're doing everything right, I promise you that this is the part that you're not doing right. So make sure that you take extra little time doing this. And if you're using a safety drill bit, sometimes it is a little bit harder to seal around that cuticle area because the safety part of the drill bit sometimes can't reach all the way down, or at least for me, I've experienced that. So try using one of these regular drill bits, and I promise you that you won't have any lifting if you do this correctly. So after we're done filing all the nails, we're going to go in with a buffer, and we're just going to buff all the nails. And this is just to get rid of any of the scratches left on the nail bed from the e-file or from the regular hand file. So we're just making sure that they're nice and smooth. As you can see, I always run my thumb across the top of the nail just to make sure that they're nice and even or smooth. And then if they're not, I just go back and file some more. After we're done doing this, I'm going to go in with my dust brush, and I'm going to dust the nails off, and I'm going to wipe them off with an alcohol wipe, and then we're going to start the nail art process. So for this, I'm using my D&D gel polishes, or sorry, regular polishes, which is my lemon juice, my NY Islanders, and then I'm using Dragon Fire by La Pomme. and I applied it on a makeup wet sponge, and we're doing the ombre effect first, and then after that I'm gonna go back and draw the flames. So once again, that was the color Lemon Juice by D&D and White Islanders by D&D and Dragon Fire by La Palm. I applied on the nail tip. As you can see that I didn't do a base, I'm just doing the colors on a sponge and then doing them on the nail. We're just going to dab them on the nail, and then we're just going to do this however many times it takes for us to get the coverage that you want. So you might not want the colors to be too intense, but I do, so I'm going to go back and do a couple of layers. And for the ombre, I do want to mention that I use the sponge just like it comes in a bag. I take it right out of the bag. You don't have to wet the sponge. You don't have to do anything special to the sponge. You literally just apply the polish and dab the sponge onto the nail. And then sometimes you will have to go through different colors to be able to get the coverage that you want. I know last time I did a video where I was trying to do the purple ombre, but the colors weren't like intense enough, or they didn't have a really good coverage, so it was really hard. So make sure that you're using colors that are not too old and they have a pretty good coverage. So once again, we're gonna just dab the color on the nails a couple of times, and then we're gonna come back and draw the flames. Alrighty, so now I'm going in with my 2-in-1 cleanup and nail art brush, and I'm using the nail art part, of course, and I'm using my Dragonfire regular nail polish, and I'm just drawing the flames. So as you can see, when I'm doing it, I'm kind of just wiggling my brush around, and then once again I'm using the regular polish, which is the color Dragonfire, and then we're just gonna draw random little like flames, and then we're gonna kind of blend the polish down to the red and the orange. And when I'm doing this, I am dabbing my little brush with acetone just to kind of make sure that the color is not too intense when I brush it down to blend it in. And I'm also going back and taking away some of that polish that I applied that was too high. So I just kind of brushed it down and brushed it off the nail, and then I'm going back to draw my little flames. So you kind of just freehand this. As you can see, they're not perfect, but they look pretty good. So if you have to erase them and start over, that's fine. I had to do that a couple of times, but it do take a couple of little times to get the perfect little flames. So again, I kind of went back with my little cleanup brush and acetone and took some of that red off that was up too high. And then with my nail art brush, I'm going in and just drawing the little flames. And this is regular polish. I'm using regular polish for all the ombre nails. So since all the nails were pretty much the same, or they're really all the same, it wasn't much explaining to do. But now I'm just applying my IBD gel top coat. So remember, when you're applying a gel top coat over regular polish, you want to make sure that the regular polish is 100% dry, which it was. So we're going in, applying the top coat, and then we're going to cure each hand for 60 seconds. Alrighty, y'all, so this is the final look. They turned out beautiful. That ombre just looks so good together. I really would just wear that ombre by itself, not even the flames. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at GetNailed32, and I'll see you guys next time.